to, 1990, 1989, somewhere back
yeah,
a ways.
Yeah, around then. And Pam, of course, is a phenomenal vocal arranger. And she puts all the vocals together, and she's just amazing. She's been doing this for so many years. Joyce was part of the original Tony Orlando and Dawn. And
right.
when you saw the show, nobody knew that Pam was actually singing with them in the studio and did the vocal arrangements.
Oh,
so
wow.
she was kind of an invisible Dawn. Although later on, when Thelma Hopkins got into doing her sitcoms and couldn't go out on the road, Pam did join and perform with Tony Orlando, and she was wonderful with her and her sister Joyce. I saw them live in Vegas, and they were great.
Amazing.
But to get back to what we're doing, first of all, this song was written by the great Johnny Bristol, and it came out in 1974. I was a DJ then, and I went crazy over it, and played the heck out of it in the club. And when all these things started to happen, starting with St. Louis and the protests against the police violence against victims, I had a deja vu to my childhood when Martin Luther King was killed. Ironically, here we are recording this on his day, and I remembered, just crazy riots responding to his death, and that's what was going on starting in St. Louis, and then in Ohio, and in Baltimore, and Atlanta, and it just kept going on, and then it went beyond police violence and victims to, crazy things like people going into schools and shooting, people going into theaters and shooting, and so forth. And now, most recently, people driving trucks and running people down. I mean, it just continues to get worse and worse. And I wanted to get out a message that we need to focus on these victims and try to stop this from happening. So my project is focusing on the victims, and the person that's helping me with that couldn't make it today. She was originally scheduled to be on the show, and that's Debbie Jacobs-Rock. And she's a longtime friend from the club music days, and she now runs a nonprofit in Baltimore. And I reached out to her because initially Baltimore was one of those cities with the terrible violence where the police people were knocking someone around in their van to the point that he broke his neck. And that was what made Baltimore resonate to me. So I reached out to her and I said, I'm trying to put this together. Will you partner with me, and whatever we make, put that to good use? And she agreed. And so she said, victims of violence are not only the people who get physically hurt, but it can also be the families who have to turn around and bury their children or their brothers and sisters, and they have a challenge. She said, we help with all of that. So I said, you do your thing, Debbie, and whatever we can raise, you'll take care of it. So that's what we're doing, and that was my original purpose, and it's taken a long time to come together, but with the help of all these wonderful people that I'm working with, it's finally getting ready to be released, and I'm very happy about that.
Fantastic. And I know John Bon Jovial wants to jump in with a question too. Are you with us, John?
No, I'm here. I just wanted to let you and Rick know that we have Joyce and Pam they're waiting to come on in. So why don't you bring them in and let's say hello to them?
I'm going to do just that. Thank you very much, John Bon Jovial. Thank you, Rick. Stay with us because we'll probably have a couple other questions we want to run by you too. But let's bring the ladies in.
I definitely have
now
to explain a little bit more about the music. So
absolutely,
but let's get Pam and Joyce on.
We're going to do that right now. Pam and Joyce, can you hear us?
Yes. Hello.
Hey, I like that. In unison, yes. I love it.
Stereo, yes. I love it.
Hey, when you've got talent, you've got talent. There's no way around it. So, Pam, I'm going to let you, because I guess you were the first of the two callers to get onto the switchboard. I'm going to let you go first. Introduce yourself and tell us a little about what you have contributed to the Peace Project here.
Oh, hi. I'm Pam Vincent, and so we contributed the vocals. I did vocal arrangements, and we're just happy to be a part of this project because peace is indeed what we need today.
It certainly is, and as Rick was just explaining about the violence that kind of triggered the thought of the project, and I couldn't help but think how ironic and just plain wrong that for some reason our answer to untethered violence is more violence. It just doesn't make any sense to me, and I wish you guys all the success in the world with this project. Joyce, come on in here and say hello and tell the folks about your part in the show.
Well, hi there, everybody. It's nice to be here. This project is very, very near and dear to my heart because I feel as though we are definitely in order for some peace here.
Amen. Amen to that. Rick, you were going to tell us a little bit more about the project.
Yeah, well, number one, Pam didn't mention that she wrote the rap that you hear in the middle, which I absolutely love. We're so pleased with it. It just fit right in with everything. And she's very creative that way. And so besides doing arrangements, she does these things. And it's so funny. She'll, without me saying anything, she'll bring all these ideas together, and and I'll say, oh yeah, that's it. We may change one little thing here, there, but she knows what's going to work, and I can always rely on her for that. But what I did want to explain to you is what you're playing today are all final mixes. This is a club single type of thing where there's multiple mixes. They're not all up-tempo. They're mid-tempo. But the one that you just played is a big trend in the pop dance market in England right now. It's kind of based on an ABBA flavor, and there's a number of pop artists that are doing that kind of thing. And so my amazing arranger, David Rashkas, came up with that, and we all just loved it. And then Ronaldo, he's got his handle on the European market, and so his is more up-tempo, but extremely creative, and so we're going to be working that one too. And then the other one is the original recipe, which is the way I recorded it. And we always like to include that so people can appreciate that and also hear how the other remixers have changed it and taken it and run with it. So, but the original recipe is good too.
You're getting right into a subject that I wanted to ask you about, Rick. And ladies, please. I mean, if you have the answers, that'd be great too. But the production values that go into this song, into this project, are just nothing short of excellent. And so I'd like to know give us a little bit of background as to what kind of production techniques that you used. Was it strictly digital? Did you do any analog? Is it a mixture? What was the premise and the inspiration behind the way that you produced the song?
Well, the original recipe mix was done by David Arana, who's a keyboardist who is great at writing arrangements, and although it was recorded digitally, there's a lot of live flavor in there, and including a sax solo that we did. I mean, not a sax solo, a trumpet solo that we did. I always like to mix a little bit of live with the synthesizers, and of course, David is playing live keyboard on there. He has a mini grand in his studio, and even though it's plugged into his computer, it's played all the way live. So that's the original. And then my David Rashka took that, and then he turned it into a totally digital remix, which is the one that you just played. That's totally synthesized and done in his on his computer, but it's a different flavor, you know.
Right.
And Ronaldo is the same way. He has his own style, and so he took both of them took all the vocals and planted them in such a way that they just blend beautifully. And Pam will, I think, agree with me because she is very much a stickler for things sounding good with all the vocals and things she's put together and making sure they sit properly in the arrangement. And
it sounds.
So I ran that all by her, and she would tell me, "Oh, well, this is missing or that needs to be added." Right, Pam?
Right.
Yeah. So. Yeah,
it sounds and feels like you did your job. It really came together, and I like the club mix concept where you have several different mixes out there. It's not only, as you said, a timely thing because it's being done so much, especially in the European market now, but it gives you a refreshing sound too. It keeps the sound fresh. Now, where are you going with this now?
Well, we're preparing a limited edition CD, which will be a collector's item and available on CD Baby, and then we're going to also roll it out digitally. And we're working on the video right now, and it's going to have a lot of pieces coming together for that, including some video that Debbie shot at her nonprofit, which, by the way, is called Light Health and Wellness. And
Light Health and Wellness.
And the address of the website is www.lighthealth.org. And we'll be including all that information in our rollout, because if you don't feel like you want to spend the 99 cents for each of the songs, I don't care. Just give. Go to her website. Right. Yeah, we'll have all that information there.
That was,
and I do hope people buy the downloads, but that's not the point. The point is to spotlight the need, and however you get money to her to help the victims of violence, do it. You know, and we'll have all sorts of options for you to be able to.
And I'm glad you brought that out, because before we run out of time and I let you go, I wanted to be sure that we get across to the people how they can find the song and how they can follow the Peace Project, what you're doing, when the release is available, you know, all of that kind of stuff. Is that the preferred site for them to go to?
Well, if they're members of Facebook, they're going to see all the information on my webpage in Facebook or the record company webpage. All they have to do is search for me by name in Facebook, and I'll come up. Even though my name isn't the simplest, but it will be. It's not Smith, so it'll be on Rick Gianatos in Facebook. I'll be sharing it with Pam on her page and Joyce.
Yes.
And it'll be on the record company page, which is Altair Records, and that's also on Facebook. And believe me, we're going to blast it. People will not be able to miss it. You know,
I'm glad to hear it, and it's that kind of song. You've done an excellent job, not just in the mechanics and the music of it, but you've done an excellent job in creating something that has the two main qualities. One, it's something people are going to want to listen to, and it's got that earbug flavor to it that once you hear it a couple of times, you can't get it out of your head. And I think that's going to serve you very well. We want to thank you guys so much for coming by, spending the time with us, and, you know, telling us about the project as well as the song, and giving us a lot of the behind the scenes on it. And we look forward to seeing you have a great launch and great follow-up with it. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Rick Gianatos, and let me get my notes so I don't miss anyone, Pam Vincent and Joyce Vincent, who are with the Peace Project, and we're going to play the another mixed version of it. This is Ronaldo Montez remix of the song we opened this segment with. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. La La Peace Song.